What's going on? I am Marcus for President, and I have a question. What is it that you believe is the biggest reason why we doubt ourselves? Once you put that in the comments. As always, I'm gonna need you to like this. I'm gonna need you to comment. I'm gonna need you to subscribe. I'm gonna need you to follow. I'm gonna need you to hype this, and I'm gonna need you to share this with somebody that needs to hear this. This is episode 7 of Before the Podcast in anticipation for Recovering Out Loud, which will be dropping on Valentine's Day. And I asked you what you feel like the biggest reason why we doubt ourselves. And I asked you that for a reason. Because in this life of ours, now I'm not saying that it's anything wrong with doubting yourself, because you gotta realize anxiety, how people feel, like things that you went through. It's a lot of different reasons for you to feel like you can't. But I'm gonna tell you why you can and why you've already showed yourself that you have. You know, God ain't gonna give you nothing you can't handle. That is a fact. You understand? And even in my life, I've been in situations where I felt like I couldn't, and I've over exceeded the expectations. I'll give you an example. When I went through cancer, it was a tough time for me. You know, physically, I wasn't worth shit. You know, probably one of the first jobs I got was landscaping. And I remember talking to my doctor about it. And he was telling me that physically I wasn't going to be able to do this job. And I mean, like, look, he's seen me go through what I went through. He's seen my rehabilitation. He's seen it all. So I'm not saying that he came from a place of like trying to hurt my feelings or anything like that. It's just the fact that he was trying to be honest with me. I didn't take it in a bad way. I used it as fuel, you know. Now, I'm not going to tell you that job ain't had me fucked up. I'm not going to say that it wasn't a hard road for me. And honestly, the first 30 days was like the equivalent of boot camp to me. You feel me? They was whipping I fucked my shoulder up within the first 15 days. But I wouldn't quit, because in the back of my head, I kept hearing that you ain't going to be able to do this. Now, I toughed my way through that in first 30 days. And it was a lot of struggles in that first year, you know. But after that first year, I got that shit. And when I got that shit, everything started changing. It went from me just being able to do this job to me being one of them balls at that job. You see what I'm saying? I became the first Black assistant manager at my branch. You feel me? I did that not knowing that wasn't even something I was looking for. I just was trying to get a skill in case I want to start a business on my own, honestly. You know, I used that. Now, people know I don't drive. I don't have a driver's license. I got that position without a license. The next step was I became a field manager without a license. I had drivers. You know what I'm saying? I became one of the better field managers at this job. You know what I'm saying? I did that not even knowing what I was, you know what I'm saying? Like, my expectations were so low that shit was happening and I ain't even expect it. I went from being a person that was just like, you know, we don't have Black guys doing this. We don't have nobody to look to be like, yo, you understand, or you know what I'm saying, you understand where I come from, or you know what I'm saying, you can identify with me. I mean, I had to become that. And a lot of times what we looking for, we have to become. And that's in trial and error. You have to believe in yourself. Once you start seeing what you can do or what you believe you can do, I don't want to call it cocky. I want to call it knowing yourself better than what you thought, or yourself telling you, nah, you got more in you. You can do more. I carried this chip on my shoulder. And my thing was, I wanted to be an example for other brothers to be like, yeah, we landscape. Because we all know that this is a predominantly, Hispanic or white career. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that brothers don't be doing it, but where I was at, it wasn't like that. Not in the positions that I was holding. I became that guy. But it started with the doubt. It started with me not believing I could do it, my doctor telling me I couldn't do it, and I went through that. And I showed. I had crewman of the year. You know what I'm saying? My managers became Impact Award winners. I did that. And it was never something that I wanted. Gotta lose that doubt. So in anything else that I'm doing, I always go back to that. Because it's an example that I can. Every time I say I can't, I go back to something where I say I did it. You got to do the same thing. I'm sure you all have something that you've done that you say, dang, I never thought I could do that. But you did it. You did it, and you wasn't even worried about it. You ain't care. You just made it happen. This is why you can't doubt yourself. Because every time you say you can't, you have a reason to believe that you can. You can only look. You are only as strong as your mind. I said it before in One Day at a Time, the positive thinking. Yeah, you might not be able to do it right now, but in time you can. That's just like with this podcast. I started all this stuff and I ain't have no expectation. You see what I'm saying? Like right now, I'm still struggling to get views, but I still put out content because I'm not going to give up. Because every time I've doubted or somebody felt like I couldn't, I did. It may not come in the time that you want, but this is all God's time. It ain't got shit to do with me. All I got to do is put the effort in, and I will be rewarded, just like you will be rewarded. The message for the day is stop doubting yourself. Do that shit. Simple and plain. Do that shit. I appreciate y'all for listening. You know what I'm saying? Like this, comment, share this with somebody that need to hear it. Because I needed to hear this shit before too. You gotta believe in yourself, man. Always. And I catch you on episode 8, man.